Heroes and Generals introduces a new assault map requested by the community. Rift rebuilds its ever-popular 20-player raid. Armored Warfare teaches us about composite armor and countermeasures, and Heroes of the Storm reveals both an open beta and official release date. What's happening, guys? James Ballon here with MMOHuts.com, the quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending April 20th, 2015. And starting out the news this week is Defiance launching its new Alcatraz update, which introduces massive expeditions into the game and so much more. The new content has Arc Hunters migrating west in search of a new beacon of salvation. In this update, Alcatraz itself has become a hub for daring expeditions and raids against threats all across the new frontier. Also adding in cyber rigs, which are systems that augment players' natural abilities and allow further customization and upgrades to weapons, shields, vehicles, and more via the use of cyber chips. Now, the other interesting part of this update is that it's now available in-game, but the content related to the TV series doesn't actually start up until June. So I guess we get to see what happens before it actually happens on the show. First time they've done that. Also from Triad Worlds, Rift's latest update arrived this past week with the blood-curdling promise of Hammerknell for all. Rift 3.2 Echoes of Madness is focused around the rebuilding of Hammerknell, a 20-player raid, and since the class design and combat system has changed so much in the game since the early times of Hammerknell, redesigning it was a bit of a challenge according to the dev team, but they've managed to do a lot of work on it and revamped it all the way up to level 65. The Echoes of Madness update also brings in new and improved instant adventures, including better scaling and pacing, fewer zone event distractions, notoriety token rewards that you can redeem with any faction, featured adventure queues, and plenty more. This update is actually a beefy one, introducing Tier 6 Nightmare Rifts, Nightmare Tide Fishing, and even some wardrobe upgrades on top of that. Check out the new update trailer at the site post at MMOHuts.com for a lot more details. Next up, both Echo of Soul and Cabal II made it in the news this past week. Echo of Soul, going class by class, introduces the Guardian in their latest class overview video. The Guardian, as the name implies, is a support and tanking class that is able to specialize as either the Stormguard or the Earthguard. The Stormguard harnesses the power of thunder and supports their party with strong AoE attacks, making for a perfect zone damage dealer with attacks that penetrate enemy defenses. The Earthguard, on the other hand, harnesses the power of Earth, of course, and works really well as a secondary defender, utilizing CC abilities to help the party out. This time around, the Cabal II team shows off key features that make dungeons unique in the game. In their latest Spotlight trailer, GMIC demonstrates some gameplay from the first 4 dungeons available in the game. The entry-level solo dungeon, Frostrock Forests, which has a very simple layout and indicates where bosses are located. Looper's Excavation Site, which is structured for about 5 or 6 players. Halls of the Recluse, as one of the higher-level dungeons that also requires a suited team to complete effectively, and Heavenly Citadel, which is the first level 40 dungeon that has a variety of bosses that change every time you enter it. This one kind of reminds me of Baptismal Rise and Terra's Fate of Arun expansion, except this one has even more bosses. The next Skyforge beta test is coming this Wednesday the 22nd, and this time lasting even longer than the first 2 beta tests combined. It's running until May 13th this time around. Players of the second closed beta will be able to jump right back into the action, as well as many new players they plan on inviting randomly over time. And just like the first 2 betas, new content is being introduced as well. This time we'll see 2 additional PvP zones, which consist of an 8v8 map with a payload game mode, and a 12v12 map as Capture the Flag. A new open world zone is opening up, as well as an additional squad adventure and 5-man adventure. So hopefully now this longer beta will give more new players the opportunity to hop in and check it out. In more MMO.com news, as a follow-up to their ammo types dev diary, the Armored Warfare team shows off how different armor types and protection systems work in the game. Just like the ammo, there are several different types of armor in the game that is specifically designed to mitigate damage from the various types of ammunition. You've got spaced armor that is all about layering armor over armor, protecting the vital spots. Cage armor, which is designed to interfere with the detonators on shape charges, as well as heat rounds. Applique armor, which is the simplest form of armor, just overall increases the thickness of the armor on all of the vehicles. Explosive reactive armor is specifically made to defeat shape charges, but has a drawback that its armor detonates in order to counter the explosive impact of shape charges, so once it's detonated, it will no longer protect that part of the vehicle. It's honestly pretty cool learning about the different types of armor and what they do while watching this video. Check out the entire dev diary at the site post at the new MMOHuts.com. But speaking of Warfare, Heroes and Generals released its HotS update this past week that brings a new forward airfield assault map as well as a series of content improvements. The new forward airfield assault map is a feature that has been requested by the game's community. It's the 7th map added to the game, allowing a mix of close and longer range combat in an area in and around a small village, overlooking a river where a nearby farm has been laid out as an impromptu airstrip. This map is designed with 3 main objectives: the airfield, the village church, and the bridge controlling access to the village. Other than the new map, this update also brings more natural and realistic soldier movement, a series of tweaks to semi-automatic rifles giving them less sway, combat badge adjustments, and additional changes to the graphics and sound. Next up is a reminder from last week's recap. Path of Exile is starting up closed beta for the Awakening expansion today, April 20th. Like I mentioned before, this new update introduces Act 4, a crazy new twist on the iconic passive skill tree that lets you socket jewels that alter the tree to better benefit your build in most cases, several system changes, as well as a ton of new unique items and bosses to fight. If you haven't already, you can sign up for closed beta access at pathofexile.com/theawakening. They plan to slowly let more and more players into the beta as they go along, with the official launch, which is planned for June. As I've mentioned in previous recaps, this past week marks the final days of Grand Chase in North America. The game was launched in North America 7 years ago, and according to the official post, within the fighting game genre, it was home to some of the best competitive players in the world. All kinds of events were held on the 15th, which was the last day the game was live, and a lot of special thank yous came from the game's developers, including a special tribute blog and farewell video, which you see playing here. I'd say it was bound to happen eventually, seeing that KOG Games is essentially competing with themselves for the same audience as they are with Elsword. But I can say, unlike a lot of closures, this one wasn't due to the negligence of its publishers. Farewell, Grand Chase. You will be missed. Exciting news from Blizzard this past week. The open beta and official release dates for Heroes of the Storm have been announced. No more hunting down beta keys in a matter of time. On June 2nd, Heroes of the Storm will launch with more than 30 playable heroes, over 130 skins, 14 mounts, and 7 dynamic battlegrounds, each with unique challenges that totally make the game stand out. So the game launches on June 2nd, but the open beta starts up on May 19th, so sort of just around the corner. Also from Blizzard, Hearthstone made its way to phones, which is something I didn't really expect them to do. I figured they would sort of stick with just the tablets for some reason. I don't know why. Either way, this got me so excited that I instantly downloaded the game on my phone when I found out. Looks like I'll be playing some more Hearthstone now. And for our last bit of news this week, United Front Games and Square Enix released a new trailer late last week inviting you to join the Sleeping Dogs universe with Triad Wars. If you don't know already, this game is an open-world action title allowing players to asynchronously compete and rise to power as the king of the Hong Kong criminal underworld. It's got some GTA elements to it with the driving and open-world aspect where you can steal cars and punch random people. And the combat is definitely fun and overall entertaining, especially with the fatality-type executions. But at the same time, it also has that raid other people's turf thing going on, kind of like the Mighty Quest for epic loot. It's interesting to say the least, and for more details, check out my first look on the game. But for now, the game is currently in an easily accessible closed beta and will probably go into open beta fairly soon. That's my guess anyway. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Like always, if you're looking for more information regarding the news featured in the recap, check the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to the new MMOHuts.com for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. Until next time guys, that's going to be it from me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.